Hi there. In this video, I'm going to show you how to write a good film review for an assignment for college. Okay, so I've chosen The Lion King because The Lion King is a very popular movie. Most people have seen it, and if you haven't seen it, you will probably know what the story is about. The first thing is to begin with a headline like a roaring success. So what I've done there is I've played upon the words roar. Roar is a verb, and a lion roars. It's that big growl that a lion makes. Roar. But it also means enormous, big, huge. So a huge success. So it's nice to kind of play with words to draw the reader's attention in. Another nice thing to do at the beginning of a film review is to get a picture of the movie, and you can copy it from online and paste it into your Word document. And that just gives you a kind of idea of, the different characters in the movie. So, for example, Simba is the little baby lion cub, Mufasa is the father, and Scar, you can see Scar has a snarl on his face, so he is the villain, the Uncle Scar. Now, the introduction, we get the reader's attention by using the picture, the headline, and also interesting vocabulary in the introduction. You could even use a quotation from the movie here. So I've said The Lion King is one of the greatest animated movies ever created. Using those superlatives like the greatest, the best, the biggest. These are all nice superlatives to get the reader's attention. Then I continue on saying all generations can watch it. So everybody can watch this movie, children, teenagers, adults, and elderly people. It really is for everyone. It powerfully demonstrates. So, demonstrate is a nice verb to use, which is a synonym of the verb to show. Good triumphing over evil. So, triumph is a nice word meaning to beat, it wins over evil, as well as highlighting the significance of family and community. So those verbs like demonstrate, show, highlight, they're really nice verbs to use when you are describing the plot or the story of the movie. There are some poignant scenes. Poignant means that they are quite emotional, and then they tug at the viewer's heartstrings. So that means that it touches the viewer, it makes the viewer feel emotional, as well as providing some belly laughs with some colorful jungle characters. So, belly laughs is like a big hearty laugh from your stomach. Your stomach is your belly, so a belly laugh is like a big, big laugh. Don't be surprised to be overwhelmed with the emotion if it is your first time to view this movie. Overwhelmed means to be overcome. So maybe you might find that you're crying in the cinema or that you're laughing really heartily in the cinema. So the plot introduces us to young Simba. So Simba is the lion cub, the future Lion King. And he is tricked by his uncle, who is this character here, the villainous Scar. So Scar is the bad guy, into believing he is responsible for his father, King Mufasa's death. King Mufasa is Simba's father and Scar's brother. Simba flees to the jungle. So to flee means to run away because he thinks that it was his fault that his father dies. And there he meets two characters called Tumun and Pumbaa, and they raise Simba until he is fully grown, and then he then in turn provides protection for these characters. But in the meantime, Scar's reign has been a bad reign because he is an evil character. So there is no food left in the Pride Lands, which forces the lionesses to move further to the jungle, and that's where Simba is. So one of the lionesses bumps into Simba and tells him what has happened. Simba then realizes that he must take his rightful place in king. He challenges Scar and takes his position as king, and the circle of life continues. So in that paragraph, I have explained the plot. So that's the second thing that you should do, really, in the second paragraph, describe the plot. But you don't need to go into huge amounts of detail. I think I've written about maybe 8 to 10 lines there, and that's perfectly enough to describe the plot. You should try to describe the plot as succinctly as possible. So don't use too much of your review to describe the plot, because that's not what a film review is. A film review, yes, it tells us the story, but more importantly, it talks about different aspects of the film. And that's what we're moving on to. Number three, paragraph 3, 4, 5, and 6 is the main body of the film review. So these paragraphs should focus on positive aspects of the movie and negative also. You could write about soundtracks, acting, or cinematography, so music. You could talk about the different actors. In this case, there are voices of actors. Cinematography, so how does it look visually? So I said the animation of this 1994 classic is to be commended, applauded, it's commended. The viewer's attention is captured immediately by viewing the opening scenes of all the animals joining together, from the tiny insect to the enormous elephant, to greet the newborn lion cub. And this scene is really famous. If anybody has seen the movie, you might remember it. So it is very memorable because of the song The Circle of Life by Elton John, and the transience and beauty is eloquently highlighted. Transience means temporariness. The temporariness of life is highlighted, and the beauty eloquently means poignantly or very, very beautifully highlighted, both musically and through the animation. So, there I pointed out one aspect of the film. Another aspect of the film is the death of Mufasa. So this for me was particularly moving. It touched me emotionally, and it stands out in memory of one of the best scenes that I've ever seen in my whole life. It is unexpected and extremely villainous of Mufasa's brother Scar, who not only kills his brother, kills the king, kills Simba's father, but he then tells Simba that it is Simba's fault, and Scar doesn't take the blame. This treachery, so this deceptiveness of Scar would make you gasp. When you gasp, you draw in a breath and it's like you're in disbelief. So to gasp with disdain, disdain meaning hatred. This distressing scene is then highlighted. It's contrasted with the light, enjoyable viewing of when Simba he flees to the jungle, but then he grows up in the jungle and he's quite happy living with Timon and Pumbaa. And they teach him the phrase Hakuna Matata, which means no worries. And this is a really beautiful part of the movie where you can find that children are kind of dancing in their seats and people are singing along to this. So that is another really memorable scene that is highlighted by the music and also by the animation. And then I've talked about another memorable scene when Simba challenges Scar for the throne, for the kingdom. And he's honorable right to the end. And then he finally takes up his position as king, and then he goes on to have a lion cub, and the circle of life continues. The ending is very similar to the opening scenes because Simba is now married to his childhood friend Nala, and they have a lion cub. And then I finish with the last paragraph. So the last paragraph is kind of a sum up of the film review. So in this paragraph, sum up or summarize your conclusions of the movie, if you would recommend it or not. I said I would recommend this movie to everyone. A child can identify with it because of the beautiful animation and catchy songs. So they're songs that you want to sing over and over again. A teenager can recognize the different stages of life, and adults can learn some important life lessons as well as enjoying this wonderful feature length animation. Put this movie on the one to watch list. You won't regret it. So it won't be something that you say, "Oh, I shouldn't have wasted all that time." You will enjoy that movie. So it's nice to use that imperative tense as well at the end, or even maybe even in the introduction. So put this movie on the one to watch list. So an imperative tense is when you begin a sentence with a verb. So don't wait. Don't wait around to see this movie. That type of language, it kind of it invokes a kind of friendliness with the person who's reading, and it just makes it a little bit more enjoyable for the reader to continue reading the film review. I really hope this helped you. I'll leave a copy of this film review in the description below. If you have any comments, please don't hesitate to contact me, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.